So go ahead. These are two of our basic, most fundamental stances: Seping Ma or stance, Dinji Ma or a wedge stance. These form the ability for our practitioners to not only move but hit with power and strength and stability in all the forms. This is Diuma. Diuma is also one of the foundational stance works. It's also referred to as a cat stance in English. We try to preserve the Chinese names in Cantonese as best as possible. I could probably stand here and talk for about 5 minutes while they hold this, and they really love it. But it does develop a lot of leg strength as well as flexibility. This is the one they'd really like me to sit and talk to on. Naoma is a twist stance. This is probably the fourth most basic stance that we put into the elementary forms and also the more advanced forms. Again, it's used for a defense from a low position, as also being able to turn into a strike and also become very mobile laterally as well as straight forward. Okay, so initially we've got front kicks. These are just straight front thrust kicks. In Kung Fu, there's many different kicks using many different parts of the foot, and they can be the most straightforward, such as these, but then also very acrobatic, leaving the ground more than one leg. The side kicks, straightforward, same kind of idea, more power, also used in many of the forms. These are all basic motions and basic techniques that are taught straight out of the gate. One of the elements in traditional Chinese Kung Fu is flexibility. And even though people don't necessarily start out as human Gumbies, so to speak, they develop flexibility within the technique and doing the techniques. So the crescent kicks that you just saw are an example of that, being able to reach high. Chop Choy. This is the foundational strike that underpins all, if not many, of the other hand techniques. You can see that you still have the stance work that's before, and that we're building on from a foundational point of view. These stances aren't different when they're done with the hand techniques. This is Fanzhong. Fanzhong is an uppercut, but one thing you notice is all these techniques are not just using arms. These are whole body techniques. In other words, practicing Chinese Kung Fu, you exercise the entire body. Doing these just with your arms is simply not as effective, but it's also just not as coordinated. Sol Choy. This is a wide open, roundhouse kind of strike. Notice the circular sweeping notion of this, which is indicative of much of traditional Chinese Kung Fu. Although we have a blend of the straight linear techniques and also the wide sweeping motions.